All right. Welcome, everybody, to a Casual Friday interview with Kevin Ward. We've got a small crowd here today. It was kind of an put together improv. And I've been trying to actually connect with Kevin since 2012, which is when I think you started Yes Masters. And we've got a blend of students and mentors here. Dave, you're kind of the glue that's holding us together, and you've connected all of us. There's a lot of overlap here between what the three of us, Dave, Kevin, and I, are doing. So I'm excited to have the conversation. I'll let you kick us off, Dave.
Yeah, so I started coaching with Kevin. I found one of his first or second YouTube. He probably had 30 up at the time, and flew out to LA. I actually asked Kevin for a discount for my mom to join me. I was like, and he never responded. But I didn't know he was just starting coaching because he was so freaking live. It was so freaking good information. And I was like, I sent him an email. I was like, I couldn't even afford it. So I flew out. It cost me like $1,500 the first time. We made a 40-hour day out of one-day event, and my career changed from that moment when I got home. So take it away, Kevin. This is Chad Corbett. He runs the probate group, all the leads. He used to be a partner. Now he is starting his own thing. If I can't say the name of, say it, the
Magnum Opus Project is our new
Magnum Opus.
Yeah.
So Chad's he was running that group. He's the trainer there. And I've learned everything from probate really from Chad, and it's been 3 years now. And you and Kevin, you've seen the success I've had with the probate. So we wanted to really have you on to promote your event next week, and if you are doing probate this week, or Chad's going to take it away and lead this, but what would you do in today's market with the tools we have now with the probate stuff? So go ahead, Chad.
Yeah. Kevin, like I said, thanks for being here. What I saw was somebody who was aspiring to teach real estate agents how to have a business, not a shitty job. And I've continued to watch you do that. And I think we're kind of cut from the same cloth. So you make sure you balance having a life and staying healthy and staying mentally and physically healthy, along with building a scalable actual business, not just a job. And I've seen your influence, the influence of your teaching and David Pannell and others here. And I just think that we're a really close value fit. And I really just wanted to share access to you with our audience. I'm curious to hear what your experience has been in probate. Has it been deliberate or just listings here and there? And what advice you have to people about the probate niche in general in this inventory environment where the market is what it is. What's your perception of probate?
So the beauty of probate as a niche is that it has no dependence on the market. The thing I love about probate is that it is based on people, not to be morbid, but it's based on people dying. And that happens every day across America. And so that the sheer number of probate cases with real estate in them is an endless flow of real estate, of opportunity. And so everybody should do probate. I never did it intentionally. I always did it passively. I never targeted it because I didn't know anything about how to do it. I just had people referred to me, and that's how I did it. Almost all of my probate was done through my personal circle, just referrals and people that reached out to me. I did do a little bit of prospecting probates for a few months at one point, just like trying it. And what I discovered was they're different than referrals. They're different than expireds. They're different than for sale by owners because with one primary difference, that most of them are going through a grief process. Now, distressed sellers are similar in that they are going through a grief process as well. It's just a different cause of the grief. But the key to, first thing is in this market today and in every market, sellers are the name of the game. Because if you get motivated sellers, you get listings. When you get listings, you have inventory, you have what everybody wants, you drive the market, you control the market, you have control of your business and everything. So the biggest thing for me of whatever lead generation that I talk about, all of it should be seller focused. And so probate is by definition always going to be seller focused. I'm always looking at people who own real estate and who are wanting or needing to dispose of it. Now, having said that, not all of them are going to need to or want to dispose of it. They're going to try to keep it or they're going to keep it. And the last house that Julie and I rented before we bought the homes that we have now, it was the lady who had Alzheimer's. She had been moved into a memory care facility, and we rented the house with the hopes of buying it because she was in her 80s. And we knew like, okay, we want this house, ocean view, it's going to be awesome. And then when she passed away, the kids took over and they're like, we're never selling. We grew up in this house and we're never selling. And so we lived there for a year and a half and like, okay, done, we're going to buy. And 2 months after we moved out, they sold it. So the moral of the story is the story changes. And when you're looking at probate, it's not the real estate, it is the relationship. It's not the real estate, it's the relationship. And that's important for a number of reasons. One, because things change over time, motivation changes, needs change with them. And if you don't have a relationship, it's a one night stand, one shot. Do you want to sell your house and can I come over? And it's either yes or no, and that's the end of the story. You are going to miss probably 95% or 99% of the opportunities. One, because when you call them, the odds of them being, one, knowing what they're going to do. Number two, them being in a position to do it. And number three, them being emotionally in a position to deal with it or have that conversation is very slim. So if you're thinking a script is going to be the answer, and I just need the perfect script to get in the door, ain't going to happen. The perfect conversation is to build a relationship. And the way you do that is by having a conversation where you're mostly listening. I've got to identify what is their problem. Okay, what is the problem that they have? What is the problem? And then what is the outcome that they want? Now, they may not know right now. I got to be okay with that. Right now, the problem is my mom died and we are all going crazy, and there may be one heir, there may be 7 heirs, and they may be all together or they may be massively apart, and it's going to be a war. I'm worried about my ex-brother who's the executor. I'm worried about him trying to take control. I'm worried about him not being fair. I'm worried about whatever. I'm worried about getting cut out. I'm worried about how much the attorney's going to charge. All this stuff that, whether it's based in reality or not, doesn't matter. Their perception is everything. So the biggest thing is I've got to understand that they are all going to be going through some sort of grief process. Now, have you guys, Chad, have you taught them anything, or Dave, have you guys talked about the 5 stages of grief?
So everything you've set up to now is 100% in alignment with what we teach in Probate Mastery, the course and the certification. So don't try to handle this like a FSBO, like an expired, like a referral, anything else. It's you focus on people and situation, and you earn the right to talk about real estate. So I teach a probate USP where you can help them understand, differentiate yourself, and then ask them, what's been the hardest thing for you guys so far? And you bring in what everyone else wants to do is make this a logical conversation. How can I get this real estate listing? We try to make this an emotional conversation to gauge where they are in that stage of grief. If somebody's completely raw, then we have techniques for backing off and still serving them, but not letting them get stuck in what I call probate quicksand. So in those stages of grief, one of the most common behaviors is procrastination. They will actually sit there and do nothing, costing the estate tens of thousands of dollars. And some people would say, you got to be pushy with them. I would say you need to be a leader. And if you can build rapport with them and they trust you, then they'll follow your leadership when you pull them out of the probate quicksand. And that's what people like David have done so well, is really focusing on the people and the situation and not thinking so selfishly as we tend to do in our industry. It's a pretty selfish industry. Like, how can I get my money from your house? And we try to flip that script completely and say, how can I serve you? And I'll be compensated for that value. So we don't focus necessarily as much on like breaking down the 5 stages of grief and how people progress through it, but we do have techniques that focus mainly on the people and what they're going through. Empathy is the key, right? Like that's the common thread that runs through everything I've done is empathy first. Understand the position they're in. And it starts with logic, like knowing that there are, on the Federal Reserve study in 2019, we know that the average senior citizen has $28,000 in net worth, which is insane, right? Or in liquidity, not net worth. But 80% of their net worth is held in real estate. So we can assume that they were in a tight financial position, and that creates a lot of stress. We know that most Americans don't have a long-term care plan, much less. So if there was a will, that's probably all. So they don't know what they're doing because they didn't plan for this. So that creates urgency And that oftentimes manifests as procrastination. And the people who do best at this, the people like David, are the ones that have an empathetic, compassionate approach, that don't see it as how quickly can I get my money out of this deal, but how can I serve this person when they're ready? And that's kind of the main tenets of what we teach here. And no scripts. We had a conversation about this on our Tuesday call. Like, I've fought tooth and nail not to bring scripts into this niche, because I think people make fools of themselves, because it's impossible to script. I did challenge myself to build a conversation tree this week, and I'll show you guys, anyone who's in mastery, I'll show you this soon. But it literally blows out to this massive monster of a conversation tree within a few turns, because these people can be going through anything and feeling any way, and you have to know how to serve that.
Yeah, nothing is impossible to script. The problem is people want to take and treat a script as if like it's a script is like a golf club.
Yeah.
There's a golf club for every shot, but because you got the golf club does not mean you're going to know how to make the shot. So the more directions that a conversation can go, the more skill it takes to know what to do with them. And until you know how to master the use of a golf club, it's like, hey, just get the putter and use the putter the whole time, and you'll probably do better and lose fewer balls and not be as frustrated. But if you want to master the game, you got to master the whole bag of clubs, the whole arsenal. And one of the things is everybody wants to jump right to like expert. They want expert status today. Guys, here's the thing. Patience is a requirement of mastery. And patience means I've got to be willing to suck for a long time. But if I'll take action, then I can suck less every day. Most agents suck for a long time, and a year later, they still suck just as bad as they did a year ago because they don't do anything because they're afraid of sucking. Here's the deal. Suck a lot, suck fast. And because I say sucking is the seed of succeeding. The suck seed is how you get to success. And we don't want to suck, and so we're like, I'm not gonna. I've got to figure this out before I do it. No, the only way you're gonna figure it out is get into the conversations, get into in front of the people, talk to the attorneys, talk to the executors, the personal representatives, whether it's an executor or whatever it is, and get in conversation with them. Talk to the heirs, get in conversations, and listen. The best scripts are question based, because I'm not trying to tell them where to go. I'm trying to listen to where they want to go. And this is why we focus. If we start right away focusing on my solution for your problem, and it's a one size fits all, it doesn't work. I was talking to a guy yesterday that does a 4-wheel drive. He builds out 4-wheel drive trucks, like tricks them out and all that. And I'm like, I just got a brand new Dodge Ram 2500 Night Edition badass truck. I love it. And I'm like, so I'm thinking about tricking out my truck. What would you recommend? And he immediately starts recommending stuff. He doesn't ask me a single question to find out what I want, what I need, how much money do I want to spend. He doesn't ask me any questions. He just starts assuming that he's got a hot prospect here, and so he's going to start selling me stuff. And I'm like, no, not interested in that. No, I don't want that. No, I've already got that. No, this is not going to work in my situation. And he wasn't listening. And so the key of this is why when you talk to him and you go through the stages of grief and understanding that any moment I talk to them, if I know where they're coming from and I just know the possibility that they're going to be reacting to me this way, they're not reacting to me this way. This is where they are. Right now, they're in depression. Right now, they're in denial. Right here, they're in anger. Whatever comes out at me is not about me. If I take that personally, I'm done, because I'm like, oh, that was too painful. I don't want to go there again. Guys, when you do probate, one thing for sure is most of the time you're dealing with people who are in pain. And when people are in pain, they're not careful. They're not kind. They're not thinking about you. They're only thinking about themselves. And so when they'll say things that come across, if you take it personal, it's going to beat the crap out of you. This is where you win or lose the game. I care about them. They need me. I'm here for them. I'm going to listen. How can I add value to them? How can I add value to them? How can I add value to them? And then learn the basic ways through information sharing that I can add value to them without becoming a slave to trying to get the client. In other words, I'm not going to do anything they want me to do because that's not my place. I'm not going to be their counselor. but I can listen to them and I can maybe give them a little hope and a little affirmation and a little empathy. But I'm not all of a sudden going to start trying to fix that, or I'm not going to start trying to help them dispose of their antiques if that's not what I do. I can connect them with somebody, but don't try to start doing everything for everybody and thinking I'm going to win them by being their gopher. And people will take advantage of you. Learn how to do that within the boundaries that you have set that keep you focused on being productive with your time.
So what we teach, Kevin, is basically build your team. Like everyone going through probate has to have a team, and you can either build it yourself or you can use ours. And because exactly what you just said, don't become a gopher, but you can broaden your surface area by having by pre-vetting the best financial advisors, contractors, clean out crews, social workers. So we will build that team and have the best of the best in our markets at our fingertips. So that way we have 35 marketing hooks. We have 35 reasons to start the conversation, 35 responses to how they're feeling. So just like the guy that was trying to sell you the stuff that he would sell a teenager who just bought a pickup truck. Like our questions are, who are you? How are you feeling? What do you need? What's your biggest problem? And then we bring in that team member that can handle it. And the net result is you end up earning the listing business through trust and value. And you do less work on these of all of the deals that I did when I was first getting into the residential space. I spent 3 hours on average on a probate listing. And that was the initial conversation, the appointment, and going to the closing. And I delegated everything else, clean out, construction, like CPA conversations. I had a team that did 90% of the work. So these listings, I could do them at scale because I was providing a level of service the clients couldn't believe. But I wasn't doing hardly any of the work, but I got all the credit for it. And that's kind of what we teach, is like having that bag of golf clubs, to go back to your other metaphor, but having a pro behind each one. And your golf bag includes the club and that person. So you don't have to learn how to master every single club and to broaden out the metaphor. You've got your 3-iron guy. You've got your putter guy. It's almost like your fantasy team in the golf bag. So I know we do have a hard stop here in just a couple minutes. So I want to give you an opportunity, Kevin, to tell the people in our community, how can they get more access to you? And I think you have a live event coming up. So how can they learn more about that?
Yeah. So I've got a live event next week, starts on Tuesday. It's called Agent Mastery Live. Right now we've got discount tickets that go through midnight tonight. You can go to agentmasterylive.com. Oh, you know what? I've got a special link for you guys. It's agentmasterylive.com/special. agentmasterylive.com/special.
Just send it to me, Kevin, and I'll post it on the 2 groups.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm giving it to you right now.
One of the questions before you have to go was, how do you balance the investor listing presentation as an agent? How would you do it in today's market?
How do you balance
being an investor? If you're a realtor like I am, and you want to buy houses, what would your approach be?
It's straightforward conversation. This is the most important thing. No bait and switch. No, I'm not going to go and try to trick you. It's like, look, I have multiple ways. I have multiple resources that I can help you get the best outcome that you want. And so I love the 35 hooks. One of the hooks is, if you want to sell the house, I can help you get the most money for it. If you want the money fast, I can help you get money within 10 days or whatever your framework is. And that it's all straightforward conversation. The key is, first, they've got to trust you. And everything that I disclose, that's really my company that's going to be buying the house. I didn't only want to say that because I didn't want you to think there's a conflict of interest. Boom. Now I think there's a conflict of interest. Like, why are you trying to hide it from me? So everything is straightforward. Everything is like, I am, as a real estate coach, I break all the rules when it comes to transparency. I tell people all my shit.
Yep. And that's where your coaching changed, I think. Early on, the information was spot on. I dug into it, but you started sharing some personal information at events that just tied everybody to your story. And that's where I designed, you started doing story branding training. And that changed your world, that changed my world, and everybody you coached. And everything I write now for content, that's the first thing I consider. So go ahead.
Yeah, guys, when you go in with nothing, when you have nothing to hide, which is great when you're a realtor, because hiding stuff is a way to get in trouble. But when you have nothing to hide, professionally, personally, my motivation, why I'm here and all that, people respect that. And the biggest question that every single one of them have is, who can I trust? And trust is so low in America right now. It's the lowest probably it's ever been. Certainly the lowest it's been in my lifetime. The trust factor, nobody trusts anybody. I don't trust anybody anymore. I have become a cynic when it comes to who can I trust. I'm very slow to trust people. I trusted everybody. I was raised to just give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Now I'm like, I will hear you, but I'm not going to trust you until I have basically been demonstrated that you're trustworthy, either by somebody that I trust that trusts you, or by my own experience. So knowing that going in, I've got to be crystal clear, crystal transparent, and stop worrying so much about liability and just start worrying about the client and being honest with them. And like, here's why I'm here, and here's some ways that I can help you, and so forth. And nobody cares. Like, nobody minds the fact that you benefit from helping them.
I tell people, Kevin, I win most of my investments or my purchase, my wholesales based on being transparent and telling them exactly what I'm going to do. And I win every appointment. I monetize every appointment. But hey, I'll send that link. I know you got to go. Everyone stay online. We're going to do questions and have Chad answer some questions, and we'll cover that. But is there a thing that we could get back together, Kevin, at a later date?
When Pannell came to my first one-day event, he invested $1,500. Was it worth it for one day, Pannell?
Yeah, I sold my couch. I didn't have the money to come. I was selling 30 homes a year, but that's low now. But I was selling 30 homes a year, and I still was broke because I was trying to figure out the business. But I was doing buyers. I was running around buyers, and I'd stack them on a weekend. I'd work 4 or 5 buyers in one Saturday. It was draining.
The cool thing for this is you don't have to get a plane ticket. You don't have to get a hotel. It's all virtual. Just go to Agent Mastery Live. You're going to get a discount ticket for that. And 3 days off the chart. I just had dinner last night with a guy that's here at my event that I'm at here. That is a 5-figure event to come to this 3 days. He came from the Netherlands. Now, to travel from the Netherlands to the United States right now is impossible. So he had to travel to Mexico for 14 days, quarantine, and then he could come to America. So it took him 15 days from the day he left Netherlands to get here just for a 3-day event. That, my friends, is commitment to getting better, to growing yourself. And so when people go like, I just don't have time, I'm like, that's why you're broke. If you want to stop being broke, you got to start creating time for the things that will make you better. So I respect and appreciate all you guys for being in the program here with Chad and Pannell and bettering yourself. If you feel like I can help, come join me at Agent Mastery Live. Go to agentmasterylive.com/special. I put the link in the chat, and appreciate you guys. Chad, thanks for the opportunity. Pannell, thanks for putting this together. And all the rest of you guys that I know and that I don't know, hope you have a great week. And
is there an opportunity to have a longer time later in about a month with you on this?
Yeah, you just talk to me.
Okay.
You got it.
All right,
guys.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you. Everyone stay on. Thanks, Kevin. That was cool, man.
All right.
I wanted Chad to lead it, but you did good, man.
Yeah. So just so we had a really, this came together quickly, and Dave, thanks for doing it. We didn't have a ton of time to get into deep to anything. I'll tell you, like, that's the first time I've actually spoken to Kevin directly. He does a good job of protecting his time and access to him. If you got, but what I see is what I expected. The approach that seasoned one of the top real estate coaches in the country who hasn't specialized in probate. If you guys notice, the advice that he offers is basically what we've learned, right? Like what we follow. And that's why I wanted to connect with Kevin, because I think value-wise, we're very consistent. And just what he said about transparency, David is already doing this, but he can give, if you want to buy homes, is just be open and honest and build trust. So I hope we can get him back to do some more detailed and a little bit longer form stuff, because I think Kevin started in 96 or 98, I think, in real estate.
Yeah, he was 37 years old. He came into it late.
So he's been in the industry a long time, and he's been coaching professionally since I first found him in 2012 when I was transitioning from development into residential, is when I first found his stuff. And I used his tactics on FSBOs, Expireds, other listing types, but I just knew that wasn't the type of business for me. I knew there was something easier and something that would scale and let me have a different Zoom backdrop everywhere I went. And I think he's evolved too in that, like he was saying, like you guys complimented him for always having an interesting background. He learned that real estate can very quickly become a job unless you insist on not allowing it to. And that's what probate was for me. It represented the path of least resistance to that, because it's different. It takes a different skill set, just as we were talking about. But once you figure that out, it becomes easy, lucrative, and fun. And that's what a business should be. It's easy to create a shitty job. We've all been successful at that. But so anyway, I hope we can get him back and dig more into some of these things, like, and some of the tactics, like how he would approach the appointment. Really curious to show him the conversation tree I showed you guys this, basically how my brain works with every single seller. So I never have to say I can't help you, and I can monetize every conversation. And I'd be curious to go through that with like the three of us and say, here's how I do it. Here's how I do it. And so you guys can kind of benefit from seeing how we've
That'd
done.
be awesome.
Because I think we've all three kind of walked the same path, just in a different state. And we're using there's a whole lot of overlap here that I think everyone else can benefit from. But so hopefully
I wish I would have found it earlier, because now I'm starting to get referrals from people that I've closed houses with.
Yeah.
And it's starting to quadruple and referrals from the probate people. And now they're becoming buyers. So.
And it's just like in session 2, when I talk about teaching you how to create a circle of transactions. Like, you create your own cycle of future business, and you do that by providing value in the present right now. Oh, you don't own real estate? Let me find a way to help you. So the next time somebody that is going through this, I'm going to be the first and the only person you think of. And it's over time. And like what he said is damn sound advice. Like, if you're not getting this right now, have some grit and just keep moving forward. Like, we all were terrible at this when we first started. David Pannell was horrible for 8 months. You didn't do shit. You just spun your wheels. And now you're consistently like knocking down two commas doing this, and it's fun and easy, and you're working less than ever. But the difference is he had tenacity and grit.
And it sucked. I called one guy that just lost his wife, and it threw me off for a couple months. But it was so it still bothers me when I think about it. But he got into my ass for 15 minutes. I just listened to him. Yeah. But I'm glad I pushed forward.
Like Kevin said, understanding the psychology, being empathetic to their position helps you not take it personally. He didn't know you. He didn't mean those things. That was his ego talking at someone. He didn't even have an idea of what your identity was. So it didn't hurt your reputation, because he didn't know who the hell you were. His ego just needed to blow off all of that negativity that's been trapped inside of him for days, weeks, or months. And if you can not take that personally and focus, and remember what feeling is driving this behavior. He was probably afraid. That's usually the biggest feeling, is not necessarily grief as much as it is fear. Usually they clear grief and file probate, and then they become fearful of something, fearful of messing up, fearful of the family thinking they did something wrong, fearful of selling it for too cheap or something. And that's where those big egos come out and tell you you're an ambulance chaser or no good. But just know, never take those personally. They don't know who you are. All right, guys, we have a small crowd here. So if anyone has any questions or want to join, feel free to unmute and jump in. Let us know what you think.
Hey, it's Christina. I jumped late. I just want to make sure I can see the replay.
Yeah, we'll post it in the Facebook group. So Kat will pull the recording and have it up. Maybe it may not be today, maybe early next week, but we'll get the recording to you in the groups.
Yeah.
So it'll be in the Probate Mastery group.
Yeah, we'll do probably Estate Professionals Mastermind, Probate Mastery, and we'll probably put it over in All the Leads Mastermind as well.
Okay. And I just want to say, I am feeling that whole job of real estate sucks right now. I'm feeling it so much. And it's so good to hear you guys say this took a while for me to get this, because you don't look like you took a while to get it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are successful, and real estate is just, I'm working with buyers, and it's just such a chore right now. And I'm like, I'm sitting here going,
yeah, you got 100%. You got 100%.
You've got to have the faith. You have to have the courage, is a better word, to just stop that. Especially in this environment, you will spend 10 times as much of your time and resources trying to get one buyer as you will one of these listings. Like, imagine I don't see your video, but I know how you feel right now. I can imagine the look on your face, because I've freaking been there. I've worked 7 days a week, 18 hours a day, running all over the damn place. I didn't know any better. And what changed it is I had the courage to say, this stops now. and it stopped. And I said, all right, I'm going to focus on the listing side. And within weeks, I had the probate listing side up to half a dozen listings. And within months, it was 72 sides with me by myself. So you can do it, but you have to control your time. You have to insist on like what you're willing to, we get what we tolerate. And if you're willing to tolerate buyers running you ragged and putting in 50 offers so they didn't get a house this week, just like they didn't the week before, it's going to be an administrative nightmare, and it's going to keep dragging on you like it is. And I know it's scary, and we can talk offline about this, but the way to get off the path you're on, the one that's making you feel so frustrated right now, is just get rid of the buyers and focus on these sellers. Take all that energy and all that enthusiasm that you have and point it at one list, and you're bound to come up with a listing. And once you do, you've got leverage. Like I said, we spend about 3 hours on the listing side. And how many months of leads do you have, Christina?
I think I have 4, and then I stopped because I'm not working them. Because my husband was like, Zillow leads, and you need to buy realtor leads. And so then I'm running around doing those, and then I don't have the energy for it. So I did stop Zillow. I do have one realtor zip. It's not a whole lot of work, but yeah, that's all I've learned.
Just send me the check and I'll yeah.
Christina, when I finally hit the end of my rope on this, between all the different internet lead types I was trying, because I was in a market, I moved from, Hawaii to Virginia. I knew nobody. I was spending about $8,000 a month on systems and software and leads. Like my overhead was massive. And just like David said, hell, I was doing $140,000 gross. And I wasn't making any money. I filed a tax return with $2,900 as my adjusted gross income. And I was embarrassed as hell. Like I could go tell people I made 140, but that was bullshit because I kept $2,900. And I'm like, this isn't a business. This is the worst damn job I've ever had. And that like respectfully, your husband's advice is bad advice. And those leads convert if you're lucky at 100 to like one in 100 will actually convert. And this is a space where you've got us, we've got your back, you're part of the community. And, Fed was on, I don't know if he is now, like incredibly good at holding himself accountable and being transparent. And he gets support from our community. So let's find a way, whether it's me or David or anyone else on this call or in our group, let's find a way to get those listings out of your 4 months of leads, because we know they're in there, right? Like it's working for everybody else. We just have to find a way to not freak your husband out where he thinks you guys are going to lose your house or whatever, and free up some of your time so we can actually focus your efforts on that. And I'm most excited about doing the call 6 months from now where we get to see how everything changed for you. And so if you want, you can email chad@magnumopussproject.com, and I'll give you some time on my calendar. We'll lay out a plan. This is something that, following the last couple of coaching calls, I've really been considering what Magnum Opus Project can do. And I think the conversation, pretty much convinced it needs to be a bigger conversation than just here's how to do probate the way we do it. But here's how to get into a position where you can do this and scale out of your business. Like I said on the last coaching call, I want all of you guys to be out of production. I want to teach you to create a good, consistent job, then turn that job into a business, then turn that business into passive income, and then reach accredited investor status, and then start making investments that other people can't, and building real wealth, and then start teaching that to other people. Like walk that path. And I was able to retire at 38 practicing what I'm preaching. And I'm not going to quit because I feel really passionate about trying to get everyone else out of that feeling that you're feeling right now. So grab some time, send me an email, and we'll take an hour and start this and get you on track.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome,
and
Chad.
Show yourself some grace. Like we've all done it. Like, don't be hard on yourself. Trust me. That's the worst thing you can do. And like one of the things I did, Christina, I got to the point I would work buyers, but they had to give me an hour of their time, and they had to bring me a $400 cashier's check for the privilege of me maybe being their buyer's agent. And that controlled the quality of the buyers. And we would not go look at a house until we had absolutely defined what their emotional needs for real estate were. Like, how do you see yourself? So if you do have good buyers that you don't want to ditch, I completely understand that. But I had a system where I averaged 2 showings per buyer. It was like 1.8 showings per buyer. And I would still do 25 or 30 buy sides a year, but it didn't control my business. It was almost like a side gig, right? Like it was just the icing on the cake revenue. Like the listings got 100% of my 80% of my focus, and buyers got 20% of the focus. But they had to ante up, like, for the privilege of working with me as a buyer's agent. And that's something that maybe that fits for you. Maybe you just need to stop it altogether if you can get when you can get the listing side up. But most likely, my suggestion would be, let's taper that off. Let's do what we promised for the people you already have active buyer's agency agreements with, and then let's put a pretty high bar there for any new buyers to come in. They're not people who are thumbing their phone. The Austin's millennials that are having such a fun time on Zillow looking at real estate. These are people who are meet your criteria for this is my perfect buyer client. And those are the only ones we accept. And they pay us a fee, a retainer fee, basically, because you say, listen, if you guys haven't noticed, this market's insane. And I take my client relationships very important. What I've learned is I can only serve X number of clients at the level I expect to serve them. So in order to find out who's serious, I have to ask you for a retainer fee, just like any good attorney would. I'm sure you can understand that. Did you bring the $600 check? And if the answer is no, then move on. Say, thanks so much. I'll pay for your coffee. If I can ever help you, let me know. But be willing, have the courage to do that, and believe in yourself and your value on the buyer side. And what that will do, it will eliminate all the tire kickers and all the people who are just thumbing their phones, looking at Zillow as a hobby. You get rid of all of that. And if they're going to bring you a $600 cashier's check and look you in the eye, you pretty much have a serious buyer. And that's a real relationship. It's not chasing some internet lead with some damn text chain and what so many people teach. But that will give you some time back in your business. Like if you had 20 hours this week, what would you do in your business if you had 20 free hours uninterrupted?
Call my probate list.
Yeah.
Yeah, Corey.
Corey answered for you. But that's it. That's what, if we can free up 20 hours of your week, that's 20 hours of prospecting time. And you're talking about, you're reaching 12 an hour, basically. If you can have 12, like that's, if you're leaving voicemails, calling all 5 numbers, you're going to be on a call pace of about 12 per hour. So to get through those 400 leads, you've got some time, right?
Let's hear a little success from Corey. Unmute yourself. Let's hear some success from Corey, man. I don't know if Chad knows Corey, but this kid is a rock star. He's calling his list. He's doing the work.
Thanks, Dave. Trying to catch up to you guys. Yeah, so I had, let's see, Friday. I'll just tell you about my Friday. I had power hour and I got through only 10 leads, and 2 of them I made appointments for. One of them we should be getting the listing next week. So he's just waiting to get his letters and then we can sign him up. And that'll be about $650,000 listing. And then the other one was an out-of-state PR from California, and her dad and brother flew up this last weekend, and we met with them on Wednesday, and they have 3 total places to sell. So 2 houses and a condo.
So when did you get licensed, Corey?
Officially, I think March, somewhere around year renewal. I think, yeah, March. I can't remember exactly.
Yep. Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah,
good deal.
So I haven't done any wholesales yet, but
so this
is a little bit expensive up in this market. So
I don't think you need to in your market because the prices are up there.
Is this the first lead type you've worked, Corey? Like, did you just jump right into probate?
This is, yeah. I was kind of blessed because my father-in-law has been a real estate agent for 30 years, and he started doing probates about 20 years ago in the Seattle market. And he started off with his Rolodex. He was telling me how he did it, and he would go down to the courthouse and get the leads and all that stuff. I joined him last year, basically when COVID hit. So it was a good time to part from my job. I was in multifamily for about 15 years as an asset manager and project manager. So I knew multifamily in and out and did a lot of joint ventures with the company I was with. But yeah, finally had been talking to him for about 5 years and just joined up with them this last year.
Yeah. So Christina, like, we couldn't have asked for a better person to follow. Like, Corey was brand new in the business and had none of that time drag on him, and look at the result. So what if you didn't have all of those other things going on that are frustratingly not making you money? Like, what if?
I know. What if I'm an animal?
Buyers take up too much time.
In Seattle?
I'm in Seattle. Yep.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Because I'm relatively new back into it. I got back into it in August, and I picked up their probate. I was like, oh, this sounds awesome. And then I just got sidelined, and yeah, and I've been kind of clinging on to Dave, but I just haven't been doing it. So it's so wonderful to hear that you're like brand new, because you just get in your head about all this stuff.
And for everybody that's not taking Mastery with Chad, I really advise that we take that opportunity with Chad. He did open it up, and it's his private thing now. But man, Chad, anybody on this call that's not in that, they need to at least take. Is it what the name of it now? But it's Mastery for probate. But
it's still Probate Mastery. I built Probate Mastery within all the lead. Elle, I think you had a question about it. So I decided to focus more on this than lead. So the conversation around probate and the support of your peers, and actually building it into a scalable, sellable business. And that's really my biggest passion, not talking about leads and software all the time. I still think all the leads provides the best platform. I've largely shaped that business model off of what my needs were as a practitioner. So it's the best data in the industry. It's the best system in the industry. It's absolutely a value for what you pay for it. But for me, I wanted to step out and really see how I could help more people through conversations like this. And the current version of Probate Mastery it's the December class, which was, the biggest class I'd ever taught. But for me, like what's becoming really apparent, just we're 5 or 6 weeks into this new community, and me being away from all the leads, I see not only an appetite, but a necessity for just a higher level conversation. Not what envelope do I use, or which letters should I choose, or what time should I call. What I see in you guys who have taken Mastery is more fundamental small business scalability problems, right? So around mindset, around the logistics, around time management. And those are the things that I mentioned on a couple of coaching calls ago. I take a lot of things granted that I did 8, 9, 10 years ago, like little things like not opening mail and not allowing people to inbound phone call me, and not ever having to pay bills, having everything on autopilot. I buy 99.5% of all of my consumption happens on credit cards with cash rewards. And I use those credits. So I'll gain an extra $4,000 or $5,000 a year in tax-free income. And I invest that in other places. So teaching those little tricks, like things that I've just kind of taken for granted, I think that's probably where this is headed. And these conversations have been really fun over the last few weeks, me realizing that. But Mastery right now it's a practitioner's course. It's how do you step out of the cash flow roller coaster and the struggle of running a real estate job and get to a point where we can turn that into a business. And then from there, I want to build on that. And I don't know yet if that's a series of courses, if it's one big master class, or if it's just continued conversations like this. But I think, and it's been really fun to watch Dave go from, you had a job in real estate when we first met. It was a cool job. And I tell everybody, when I did it, metaphorically, I call it riding the lion, because I might have been doing 100+ transaction sides a year and selling off-market portfolio deals with hundreds of houses and writing mortgages and doing all kinds of different things. From the outside, it looked like, oh my God, that guy's a stud. He's riding a lion. And it looked like I had something everybody wanted. But from the inside, I'm like, I got to pee. And when I get off, this lion's going to eat me. So I can't take a break or I'm fucked. And that's kind of where Dave was when we met too. He had it looked really big and really awesome from the outside. Yeah, but go back and watch that first video with Dave, and now watch this one. And his heart's in a whole different place. And what's really interesting is when you get that, you have to work you work less and you make more when you focus on that. But one of the most valuable things I could ever teach you guys is you have to be clear on what you're willing to tolerate and reject everything that threatens that. You have to demand who you want to be as a person and then reject everything else. And I think probate, I don't think that's a risky statement, because you're here because you believe that probate could help you get to whoever that future version is. And I do too. If you want to stay in the real estate space, this is the easiest place and the most lucrative place. Low leads and whatever they're using, whatever online leads they're using, that's great. We need to jingle keys to distract the baby so we can go do what we need to do. So let those jingling keys and shiny objects keep our competition busy, and we can go serve people at a high level and do less work and make more and be more profitable. So anyway, I think everybody here's had mastery. You guys are all familiar faces, but for anyone who's watching this that hasn't taken mastery, like I would tell you that it took me a decade to learn how to teach hours, and every week the conversations get a little bit better. So you're not buying just a course, you're buying a community, and you're buying these conversations.
That's right. You know, that's the thing about the probate niche, is that it's leading me into some tough title issues, and it teaches you to master that. It's not just a listing, it's mastering real estate at a higher level, but then you lead into other discounted, other distressed sellers. You know what to do with that title if there's a title issue. There's nothing that scares me now because I got the team behind me that does it for me. I just have to go to that appointment now. So it's amazing.
Yep. I've been, like I said, there's some things I take for granted how my brain works when I'm having a conversation, or transaction engineering. And you guys probably have heard me do it for years. Like, I know some of you guys have been with us for years. Like on all the leads for 8 years, I let people just hammer at me with the most complex scenarios and was able to just put deals together. And I learned that in my own business. And I wish I could just take it out of my head and give it to you guys. But that's what I want to teach. Like, how do you focus on an emotional conversation to follow a logical progression to, at the end, be like, oh, here's the perfect solution for them. But you make it seem like you gave them choices and they made a decision, but you knew all along the only outcome, like based on what you're learning through the conversation. And that's something that I've mapped out, I've outlined, I've got it in mind maps. What I'm thinking is I'm actually going to build a course in a mind map. So when you say, is there real estate? Yes or no? There's a video and a download for yes and one for no. And then there's options. And even if it's no, I still show you ways to serve those people and ways to monetize that phone call. And I'm testing software right now to see, is building that progression of like how my cognitive map works in doing this. Like, can we make the course look like that? But probate taught me so much of that, like with the title issues, with people, family members who are fighting with heirs that you can't find. Like, if you haven't hit one of those yet, you'll get a hold of one that has 8 cousins and nobody's talked to them for years, and you have to go hunt those. And it teaches you to be, I don't know, it's kind of resilient in real estate. Like probate is, and it keeps a lot of people out too. A lot of folks are afraid of that. They don't want to have to serve at that level. If it's not something their broker talks about every Tuesday in the team meeting, then it must be illegal or not the right thing for them. And again, jingling keys, like it clears the competition for us. So I want to find a way to teach more of that and show you guys, like David and I are doing a lot of things really outside of the realm of traditional brokerage, but we're doing it ethically and transparently. And we've talked a lot about it, but there's not a whole lot of that teaching. And Elle was on here. I know she has questions about how to properly structure her business to contain risk. And even beyond, like when you get to a point where you're making 6 digits, what do you invest your money in? Or are you spending it all? And how can we help you save just 10, 15%? Like I personally save about 95% of my post-tax income, and it's made a game out of it. I wouldn't propose anybody do that, because it's like, if people make fun of me, I walk into Macy's and negotiate for clothes, but there's a balance there, right? Like, what if we could draw out a map for your real estate business where personally you invest 50% of your post-tax income? Then in 2 or 3 years, and if we're investing that at an 18% yield, we double your net worth every 2 or 3 years, whether you work another day or not. And things happen really quickly when we're doing things like that. So that's what I'm working on, is trying to get 100% clear on just what this is. I don't want to exclude probate, because this is what got us all together. But I think I want to say, once we get this in place, here's the other things we start working on to optimize. Just like basically Dave, what you've been doing over the last couple of years, really simplifying, cutting your expenses, making sure you're actually investing, not just spending the money. And for me, and it sounds like for you too, a lot of the money that I invested in my own real estate company, I was spending. It wasn't investing because I didn't get a good return on it. It was some things that were like 1-to-1. And I fought like hell to get 1-to-1 returns just to not lose money on some of the lead types I tried and some of the things that I did. But so we want to help you guys get to a point where you're having fun and you have a business. But then how do we take that? Any other questions? Anyone have anything you want to cover today?
I think Al, you can go ahead. Go ahead. I have a question after you.
Nope, you're good. We can hear you. How are you today?
It was kind of, to me, kind of a rapture seeing you leaving the group that we connected with. I am very peculiar about trusting people, but I just don't know about the training. I got this massive amount of leads. I have a dialer. I have a CRM. English is not my first language, so it's been pretty challenging for me to get this going.
You sound pretty articulate to me.
I can kill it myself. I can do things, but
So, Elle,
I need help.
I want to stop here. And William called you out before I had a chance to. Like, you have a limiting belief that's just bullshit. Your English is fine. Like you have great, you have great English.
It's the systems in the structure. I'm not a broker. And unfortunately, I just came out, my husband was in the hospital for the past days, and I'm trying to take off. I can call, the thing is that I'm trying to follow the organization, how to structure this machine. And I know that once I get that done, I will be good. I just need some help with that.
Yep. So let's forget everything. And I mean everything, but just making the phone calls. Like, direct mail can be great. Sending emails can be great. Starting a Facebook group and a yard sale group, all these ideas we talk about can be great. But the quickest way to success here is just believing that you have something of value to offer. So let's go back there first. Do you believe are you clear on your offer? And do you think it's valuable to the families who are there to receive it?
I got over 100 vendors list already that I have, but the thing I feel that I need to call them first to make sure that I can count with these people.
Let's find out if you're ready to get on the phones. So if you had a lead, an inbound referral from a friend who said, my aunt just passed away, what in the hell are we going to do? Do you have the things and the pieces in place to offer them a high level of service that you would be proud to talk about right now?
I think so.
Like, are you clear on how to get a house cleaned out, how to get a contractor in? Yeah. So like, have your offer in place, right? Like, that's there. You have something of value for them. Now, the next step is just simply connecting with them. So take a deep breath first and like understand most, like 99% of the real estate community doesn't have in place what you have in place, which is a clear vision for how you can help your ideal client. Now, go look at that and say, I'm doing them a disservice by not reaching out to them and helping them understand what I can do for them, and just start having those conversations. I can see you're in a really high stress state right now, and you should deal with that first. Like, you don't want to waste these opportunities, because you and I, and it's kind of out of context, but you and I have had private conversations, and I've traveled Colombia and we had a connection there. You were in a completely different mindset, right? It's obvious you've got some work to do to deal with some of this personal stuff first, and beating yourself up is not effective. Like, quit being so damn hard on yourself, to be frank. Like, give yourself some grace. It's not going to just happen because you're forcing it and pushing yourself through this.
Okay.
Standing here, being vulnerable and asking for help, and being willing to listen to me and not shut down on me. But be kind to yourself. Know that you have something extremely valuable to offer, and know that unless you can talk to another human about that, you're going to keep feeling this way. Progress forward with confidence in yourself, and just make one call at a time. Some of them are going to suck.
And it starts with the phone calls. It starts before you put all the systems in place, and the emails and text messages and the marketing. You got to have a conversation with these people because if you can't pick up the phone when they call and have the conversation, you're gonna drop the ball when they do call you. I get more callbacks from the marketing than we do in the packet we send out. But if I couldn't take that initial call and just listen to them, I probably wouldn't be that successful at this. Because do I make as much calls as I should? Probably not today that I used to. But I put things in place and mail in place that helps me get those calls in. But I know how to take that phone call now. And that's really important that you spend the time, like Kevin said, you suck at it for a while to be successful. And you can't be hard on yourself while you're going through that suck period. Haas Pratt told me it took 4 months for him to get his first expired. But after 4 months to 6 months, he got 61 expireds and for sale by owners. So it's that period of suck you have to be okay with, and you will be successful. You will do it. And we're going to change lives in this group. And with Chad, man, I look forward to 6 months from now, a year from now, see you guys investing in Fort Worth real estate.
Yes.
Did y'all
So,
catch
El,
that?
what I suggested, it seems like the systems are becoming overwhelming to you. So I'm just suggesting focus on the phones, because that's a really simple system, and you have the tool that they're sitting right there waiting. So make that a priority. The mail is important. And as soon as you get some relief from this and you can do it, then focus on your mail system and your Facebook system and your email system and all those things. But as far as if we're going to take things one step at a time, and I think anyone on this call who's had success in this, the best first step is go to the phones, because that's where you're most likely to get that first deal, is through real connection.
And have the expectation that you're not going to get a hold of everybody. You're going to get a hold of 10% of the calls you make. So if you make 100 calls, you get a hold of 10 people. If you call 10 people like Corey did and you get 2 appointments, that's good. But now you have to practice that appointment set. What do I do on appointment? We'll talk about all that. I'll start coaching on that. The appointment, probate's a good pickup rate. You're talking to the executor. Usually it's a driver. It's usually somebody that has a high level personality, executor mentality, either an analytical person or a high driver. You don't deal with really the middle of anybody wishy-washy. If a parent left somebody as the executor, they're going to get stuff done over a certain amount of time. They're going to push, and if you push back from that no or that maybe, you're going to get the business.
Yep.
I don't know how much time you have, Chad, but we're running about an hour and a half. So
yeah, I've got a hard stop at noon, so we have 7 minutes. Fed, what's on your mind?
I'll make it as quick as possible. I guess the answer probably is what you just told Elle about just getting on the phone. I guess there's 3 key elements that stood out to me throughout this conversation between you, Dave, and Kevin. Essentially, also Christina brought something up, but long story short, I feel like I'm doing this to myself, where I'm once again overloading the schedule. So last time you and I spoke, I was telling you, hey, look, right at the time I was signing up to Chris Prefontaine for creative financing. And then I got Dave Pannell now that I'm trying to sign up to. And now we got Kevin Ward saying, hey, sign up to this thing. So I feel like all these things are really good, because it's all stuff you want to grab onto and learn. At the same time, I feel like, me personally, it's almost like I'm numbing the process by filling the schedule with education, and I'm not giving myself time to actually absorb it and put it into place, if that makes sense. Sorry, go ahead.
How much revenue do you have coming into your business next Thursday?
Fortunately, I just closed. Fortunately, I had 4 good escrows that closed last week, but realistically, with the cost of living in LA,
what's the number, Fred? He's trying to get a percentage that you should invest.
Oh,
no. Where I'm trying, you have business in the pipeline for the next week.
I do have some business.
Do you have closings?
Not a lease, but it's a big lease, but that's about it for now.
What I want you to do is admit you're on the cash flow roller coaster, and step 1 is admitting that. So it's feast, famine, feast, famine, feast, famine, feast, famine. And understanding why is the first step, right? Like, why the hell am I doing this? Part of the why for you is when you know there's a feast coming, you start preparing more food, and you've got all this stuff incoming at you, and then you get overloaded. That overload is what creates the famine. So it's a bit of a paradox, but you think, if I can just improve myself, I can keep this running up to the right. Like, I'll just keep making more and more money. but your dollar productive activity is being neglected because you're putting so much into that self-improvement. So it's not really a criticism, it's an observation, because I've certainly been through this myself. Like I used to read 100 books a year, and I would read 2 or 3 books before I would go make my prospecting calls.
And I get that you're 100% on that. That's my challenge. My thing is I'm trying to avoid this. No, it's almost like a sickening when people kind of like pain, and it's almost like they'll do everything to, I don't know. Christina was saying she has lists she doesn't touch. And I'll tell you this, the one thing that, pardon my French, pisses me off more than anything is that I end my day with, I should have done that, and why am I not doing that? And I keep putting it on tomorrow's list, and every day it turns into tomorrow. So for example, I walked 3 neighborhoods looking just for distressed properties because I have developers ready to actually just purchase them. I made a folder with addresses, with pictures, with like literally all of the above. And it's been in my phone for about a freaking month. And every day I just find another bullshit excuse, which is probably stemmed from fear of, I don't know, actually, no, not fear, failure, or whatever. I don't know. It's really annoying because I keep going, like you were saying, from having really good months where you're cash rich to literally not sleeping at night because I'm like, oh crap, now it's been 1 month, it's been 2 months, it's been 3 months of no close.
So Fed, I have 2 minutes. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
I want to leave you with 2 things. One, the point I was getting to is lead with revenue. So you need to like, I love your tenacity and your commitment to self-improvement and to furthering your education. I applaud you for that. However, it's getting in the way right now. So everything you do over the next few weeks, ask yourself, am I leading with revenue? Am I focused on dollar productive activity? Meaning, if I spend X amount of hours, what is the likelihood that this brings me revenue in the next 30 days? And you are going to, we always get done what we prioritize, whether that's eating a freaking pizza and drinking a 6-pack of beer while you have a Netflix marathon, or whether that's putting together a multi-million-dollar transaction. Whatever you prioritize is what you get done. So I want you to start setting your priorities, not on just temporarily, not on self-improvement, but on revenue production. So you can have stability to create more time for self. The second thing I want you to examine, you said it's probably fear. There's no fucking doubt it's fear. So you're thinking it's fear of what I'm thinking several months might be fear of success that's holding you back. And I want you to think about, we talked about the crabs in a bucket phenomenon. And sometimes the fear of leaving people behind creates behavior that manifests as procrastination or self-sabotage. And I don't know your whole personal story, but I want you to sit with that and think, am I doing this in a self-sabotaging way? Is it because I know if I go give that developer that package I put together for him a month ago, he's going to be like, Fed, this is fantastic. Like, let's do this deal. And then and then Joey from high school, who's struggling right now because his damn wife left him and he doesn't have a job, is going to think I'm an asshole because I'm making $1 million a year. Like, I see more people fail because they're afraid of success than they're afraid of failure. So I want you to sit with that. Only you will really know the answer. But are you more afraid of failing, or are you more afraid of succeeding? And could that be why you're putting yourself in some of these self-sabotage?
That's a great point. I appreciate that a lot, actually.
Yeah, guys, I do have to run. I've got a class showing up, and I've got to go get our motorcycle course. Hey, Dave.
Yeah, thanks. That's good for me too.
But it's not for everybody. Anyway, I want to point at you again and say thank you for the courage, for showing some vulnerability and asking for help. If there's anything we can do, remember, all these people in this community, I don't know if you watched and knows, but people are cheering you on. Like, we want to see you, all you guys. Christina, know how. Pannell, if you want to email me, chat@magnumopusproject.com. I'm going to be with 20 guys for the next few days, but Monday I'll try to spend some time with you and work through some of this. But guys, Fed, L, Christina, like I think that my theme of today is show yourself. It's like criticism doesn't get you anywhere. Putting a stick on yourself rarely works. Let's figure out what carrot is. And what I would encourage you to do is look at how you want your life to be. Like how to serving me. And that means no wasting your time, getting rid of buyers, making sure that you focus on dollars before self-improvement. Like so many nuggets in this conversation from between the three of you. But the biggest thing is show yourself some grace and listen to what Kevin said in the very beginning of this. It's going to suck day in and day out until it doesn't. And when it doesn't, it becomes easy and fun. And you guys will be coaching on these calls and showing vulnerability. So anyways, I really admire you guys for all the contributions you make here, and you're honest in front of a group of real estate professionals. It's not even that one hell of a good culture, and we're all here for the right reason. So guys for being part of it. We'll at least see you on Tuesday for our next
Thank you, everybody.
So very much. Thank you so very much for your time. This was awesome.
Yeah. Good to go. Good Friday clarity. Good.
Have a good day, guys. Thank you so much.
Another educational webinar.